Port Adelaide and South Adelaide clash in the 1979 Grand Final. More than 40,000 people here see Brian Cunningham win the toss, kicking with the breeze. South come clear through Fry, back towards midfield. Harradine up, can't hold the ball. Ackerman over the top. Fry in there searching for it, and the umpire will come in and bounce. Almost back in the centre circle as the sunshine momentarily disappears and a rain squall sweeps across Football Park. On the half-forward line for Port Adelaide, Butler gets it out. Baines soccers into attack for South Adelaide towards the half-forward line. Here's a chance now for Andrew Bennett to put the Panthers into attack. Ball being held up in the breeze. White gets up high. Bradmore in there for Port Adelaide. Can't pick it up. Phillips. Fry takes out Abernethy, and the Port Adelaide winger will get the free kick from half-back flank.
Bruce Abernethy for Port Adelaide on the half-back line. The rain sweeping across Football Park. Goes for distance, clears centre wing position. Curtis went up with no real go about him. Cahill trying to work it through, but Mousley over to Baines. Shorty goes to Slattery. Well shepherded Hines, but Slattery left it behind. Works it to Butler off the deck at centre wing. Fry versus Ackerman. Fry working it back to Butler, but there's a throw in by the interchange gate at centre wing. Tentative opening. Dolan front spot taken by Hines. Hines again to Slattery. In pursuit, Williams. Free kick Southway. Slattery. Wayne Slattery at centre wing with a 15-metre penalty. And that's undisciplined football from Mark Williams on that occasion, as he's brought up to the half-forward line now for South to clear that line for the first time. Uses a drop punt, holds up in the breeze. Phillips there, kicked away by Hoffner into the open spot. And leading in the race for the ball is South Adelaide's Collins. In pursuit, Sorrell. Baines gives the South support. Goes in to take out Sorrell, allows Collins to kick forward, but he's put the ball out of play on the full.
Peter Hoffner to take the free kick from half-back flank. Conditions very difficult for players now. 2.5 minutes into the Grand Final. But we see the ball being brought back now. A 15-metre penalty imposed on the South Adelaide player standing the mark. That was Stephen Keane, and it's Peter Hoffner playing centre wing on the outer side. No, it's going against them. It's taken by Collins, kicks to the half-forward line. Up there, Dolan takes the mark at the second grab. The big fellow bolts off now. A very important cog in the Port Adelaide machine today. Ackerman kicks a monster kick, 60 metres. Evans there, over the top, Brooksby, looking for support, can't get it. Evans through, looking to pass off. Feletic in for the Magpies now. He gets hipped out of it. Going in hard, Cunningham, Cahill, Baines. Players go down in a heap at centre half forward. Port in attack, and the umpire will come in for a bounce.
Already the pattern is set for the style of game we'll see today. Stewie Palmer, the big tap out. Snared by Cahill, dribbles one forward, out comes Evans. Through goes Cunningham. Mousley in over the top, and a stalemate rule. No quarter being given, and certainly none being asked for. The bounce, the apron of the goal square. Up high went Curtis, worked it back to Palmer. Evans at the goal! He's put it through! The opening goal to Port Adelaide at the 4-minute mark from Tim Evans.
A great start for Port Adelaide. Well done, Tim Evans. It was felt that perhaps the conditions wouldn't suit him once it got wet and the wind came up, but the big fellow realised he didn't have time to pick it up, and he socked it through from about 4 metres out, and Port Adelaide has got its first goal on the board in the first 4 minutes of the 79 Grand Final.
A good opening for Port. Up goes Dolan with Hines, who got the tap. Cox still on the ground, booted forward at Palmer. Following through Hoffner, left it to Keane, works it to Hines, or bad hand passed. Set up Cox, out comes Keane to help. Through goes Belton, works it over to Curtis. He's flanked by Hoffner, dribbles one forward. Cox can't control the ball. Hoffner takes him to the ground, and Cox will be freed at half-back.
South Adelaide rover Phil Cox from half-back flank. Put the Panthers out, or short to Clark, standing centimetres inside the line. An accurate pass, however, finds the former Sydney player inside half-back line. Very close to the man on the mark. The wind could float this ball out over the line. On the full, free kick to Port Adelaide to be taken by Bruce Abernethy. The 17-year-old Port wingman puts them to the half-forward line with a towering torpedo punt. It's going in high. They get up, trying to handle it back there for South Adelaide. A good mark taken by Mousley, and at the second attempt, he'll put the Panthers out towards the half-back line from that back pocket.
Kicking into the teeth of a stiff wind. Holds up, ball. Clifford's there for Port. And South Adelaide being caught out of position, not judging the flight of the ball at all well. Stephen Clifford. Favouring the screw punt. It's got a ton of distance. The accuracy's there. And Port Adelaide in the first 5 minutes have posted 2 quick goals.
Well done, Stephen Clifford, but a mistake by the South Adelaide defence then. The kick wasn't a good one. Perhaps you could blame the breeze, but it was all Stephen Clifford who got under the ball. And certainly with the breeze at the back, there was only one thing he could do, and that was have a long shot, and it was a magnificent kick that brought about Port Adelaide's second goal.
Six-minute mark with Dolan and Hines at the centre once more. Dolan the tap out. Kick forward by Belton. Deep through half forward. Up into the forward pocket and out of play for a throw-in. 30 metres around from the left behind post, with Curtis to take the ruck effort up here for Port. And he's up against Stuart Palmer of South Adelaide. Dawson also helping there. Got it back to Cahill. Cox goes in for South. Following up is Earl. A short pass. Belton taken down by Slattery, and another throw in almost up to the half-forward line of Port.
2 goals the Magpies. South Adelaide yet to open their score. Hines and Curtis at the throw-in inside Port's half-forward line. Hines in front position, a hook back over the head. Earl back in defence, scoops it out. Mousley gets it onto his boot quickly. Gordon getting underneath the ball for Port Adelaide. Looking to play off 15 metres. Cox transgressed, came over the mark. Now Belton shoots towards the woodwork. It's going to drop short. Earl leaps. Evans. Mark Williams deep in there. Gives a handball across. Here's a chance. Dawson! Goal to Port Adelaide. Well played, Mark Williams.
Again, good football by Port Adelaide, and already South are under an enormous amount of stretch in defence. The tumbling punt kick going in, not able to be marked, and then Williams with his nose down over the ball, driving through against the boundary line and popping it over to Dawson, who was free in the square. And the former North Melbourne player made no mistake from point-blank range. An 18-point margin to South with Port with 7 minutes gone.
A worried South Adelaide camp. 3 goals down after the first 8 minutes. Hines gets the fist away this time. Towards Baines. Can't get it out. Harradine goes down. Players going in hard, getting very physical the game, and another bounce by the umpire. Marginally in South Adelaide's attacking division. Hines and Dolan. Dolan gets it cleverly over his head. Fry, Cox, Baines, and another bounce by the umpire. Almost back in the centre circle. Hines and Dolan. Hines giving away height. Uses his body well. Coming out of defence, Giles to the half-forward line. Shane Butler back there, can't bring it in. Tapped over towards Abernethy. Tackled by White. Run down and pushed in the back. And the free kick will go to the Port Adelaide winger. And I would think with the breeze at his back, he's well in distance. A magnificent kick on the run. We've seen him pot many beauties throughout the season, dashing down from that centre wing, but this time he's got the set shot. 9 minutes into the first quarter. Oh, the kick off the side of his boot is not a good one. Earl a chance for South Adelaide and takes a defensive mark.
South Adelaide committing a cardinal sin of hitting the ball back into the centre area with no players giving the tandem run. Earl kicking now to the half-back line. Baines up there. Also Bennett out the back, taken by Curtis. Hooks around the corner. Dawson out, forced away by Earl. Mousley in over the top. Back looking for Butler. Shepherded by Clark, but he's run down by Dawson. Earl in the van. Tried to work it over. Mousley helps him out. Hooking around the body blind, but he's fortunate for Bennett there. Cox running around the boundary. Now kicks forward to the half-back line. Fry down from half-forward, and it's a throw-in on Port Adelaide's half-forward line.
3 goals, Port Adelaide. South yet to open their score. Hines, Dolan, 10 minutes into the first quarter. Bennett there as well, gets the fist away. Mark Williams forwards it to the pocket. Palmer waits his opportunity. Curtis there with him. Palmer going for the safety of the line, forces the ball out of play on the outer side. A great start for Port Adelaide. Big crowd, building all the time as weather improves. Butler, Palmer, can't get it away, scoots it out, but a free kick is going for hanging on, and Stuart Palmer will take it from inside half-back flank.
Tremendous atmosphere at Football Park, typifying a grand final. Palmer to centre wing, the ball holding up in the wind. Fry up high, couldn't pull it in. Dolan recovering well for a big man. On the bottom of the pack went Bennett, working it out. Hoffner, off the ground went Fry. Almost up to the half-forward line off South. Brilliantly picked up by Collins, but it's over the line for a throw-in. Almost to the half-forward line of South. Dolan of Port. High Bennett. Worked it out the back. Coming up Cox, but Williams from Port Adelaide. Fry the other way, and Williams gets the free. Works it to Philetic. Port to their half-forward line. Out comes Curtis. Well forced away by Palmer. Belton in. Cahill caught. Back to Belton. Hooking around the corner. Evans leads in the race. Still with Evans. Back to Dawson. Earl runs him down, but it's been ruled out of play for a throw-in, right forward pocket.
About 25 metres around from the Port Adelaide goal. Evans obviously going to take the throw-in. With him there is Brooksby, his immediate opponent. The ball forced towards Mousley, and a free kick is going the way of South Adelaide, to be taken by half-back flanker Gary Mousley. His fourth kick to the outer side, a long one, a good one into the breeze. Phillips up over the top, can't complete it, and the ball tumbles out of play. Half-forward right flank. Dolan. Hines. The bodies go in. Dolan gets the better of the tap towards the line. Cunningham in there. Butler over the top. Hoffner comes out with the ball, but the umpire has called for a bounce.
Inside Port Adelaide's half-forward line. Hines and Dolan kicked out of play on the full. Will go Port Adelaide's way. Darrell Cahill driving to centre half forward in the lead of Curtis. Palmer hits to ground. Fry roves it well. Can't get clear, however. Palmer caught also. Can't get away. Another stalemate ruled. And we'll see plenty of this type of football today. At centre half forward, Curtis the big thump forward. Schneebickler hit away by Palmer over to Clark. Backed up by Schneebickler. Dribbles one to Baines. He in turn goes to King, who was almost run down by Bradmore. Harradine caught. Keem in again. Into the open space. All Port. Big Dolan goes to ground. Up comes Keem. Hines there also. Ackerman in against the tide. Pulls it under, and a bounce will take place at centre wing. 13-minute mark, first turn.
As the game starts to settle down, the heavy bodies go in. It's going to be a tough, tense game. Fry up over the top towards Butler. Forwarded by Port Adelaide to the half-forward line, but there it's Cox who takes them up. Runs a dead heat with Philetic. Cox looking for the 15-metre advantage, but doesn't get it. He's just the check side of centre to put the Panthers into attack. Drop punt. Holding up into the breeze, starts to drop short quickly. Phillips in front, strong mark, and does it well. Bennett over the top, preventing the play on. Now he gives it away. Taken now by Bradmore. Slipped as he got the kick away. Fry's got problems. Cahill can't pick it up either. Hines for South Adelaide. The players go in hard on the half-forward line for Port Adelaide, and another bounce.
Very slippery ball. 14-minute mark. As Curtis gets the tap. Butler kicking South forward. At centre wing. Coming down Bradmore. Front of Bennett. Keane stops his run. Fighting for possession. He's got it now. Runs through the centre. An awkward kick. Taken by Phillips. Allowed to get balanced and drives deep. Through half forward. Bomber Clifford up, but couldn't pull it in. Dawson off the deck, but Schneebickler's back there. But the play has been called back for Mousley to take the free kick. Quickly to Schneebickler. Oh, they're fooling around with it. Dawson forcing an error. Kicks to the goal square. Brooksby takes the ball out of play, and another throw in. South Adelaide under an enormous stretch and making mistakes.
Yes, they've made 2 mistakes under pressure. Evans, Brooksby, Palmer at the back, and the scissors goes for the safety of the line. South trying to eat out the seconds as they're kicking into this very strong breeze in the first quarter. The South camp, out goes the runner Graham Hibbard. Curtis over the top, grabs the ball, tries to crash the tackle. Faletic in the pocket, can't get clear. Dawson over the top. The umpire has ruled another bounce, and this will take place about 20 metres out from the Port Adelaide goal. Tucked in the right forward pocket. Brooksby gets the thump away, but it's straight back there now to Curtis, taken by Cahill, hooked in towards full forward. The ball by Evans. I think he could have been out of bounds when he took the ball, and the free kick will go the way of South Adelaide and to be taken in the back lines by Gary Clark.
Kick out of play on the full. Clark, getting good distance into that breeze. Forcing it out was good body work by Bradmore. He moved Keem out of that beautifully. South Adelaide appear to be running Schneebichler loose in defence. Ian Bradmore driving a high ball to the square. Schneebichler getting the set, virtually flew unopposed. Phil Brooksby to Clark, who's run down. Earl works it to Slattery. Quickly in turn he gave it to Cox. Stewie Palmer, awkward looking kick goes forward. No one home for South. Down comes Collins, through goes Fry. Collins now. Run down Hannon. Collins gets a free kick.
There you go, right?
South Adelaide about to go through their half-forward line for the first time. No leads. Drives long. Hines up. Forced away by Dolan. Working hard for South Adelaide is Linky. Sorrell in pursuit. Phillips to help him. Sorrell out. Kicks to centre wing.
Faletic setting himself for the ball. Underneath it, can't bring it down. Clifford goes for the roundhouse right. The half-forward line. Hoffner with the opportunity. Earl goes in, fists it back towards Faletic, but is taken away by South Adelaide's Keem. A long kick to the half-forward line. Dolan back there. Fry over the top. Eckerman quickly over to Williams, and Port Adelaide march forward again to the half-forward line. Curtis getting the run now from Abernethy, but that player is covered. Evans gives the lead. He kicks in long. It's a long kick. Gee, that is a long kick. Covered 60 metres, but went out of play on the full.
Port Adelaide, the aggressors, but the scoreboard not taking the impression. Mousley, an awkward-looking kick, but well-directed, finds Clark. Hasn't gained any ground, but he's got it onto the defensive flank. He in turn goes short to Keem on the half-back line. Stephen Keem, with virtually no one to kick to, will go for distance. Has got a short one for Cox. He's on the right corner of the square, defensive side. Cox, a lead of Harradine, goes towards that player. Baines versus Cahill, over the top Harradine for a throw-in at centre wing.
It looks as though Darrell Cahill has been given the job to stand the playmaker of South Adelaide, Jeff Baines, not giving him a centimetre. Dolan gets a clever tap away. Clean bowling Keem. In goes Shane Butler. Bennett puts out the bump. Butler goes for distance. In there is Cunningham. Throws out a hand pass. Baines ricochets the ball back. Dolan under pressure. Socket by Williams. Taken by Cahill. Port Adelaide to the half-forward line. Clifford and Earl. And the ball forced out of play once more.
Very tight game as things settle down now. Palmer and Curtis with Bennett late on the scene. Cunningham's kick smothered. Stalemate as Cunningham broke clear. And another repeat performance from the man in white. An 18-point margin to Port Adelaide, 19 minutes into this first term. Up high, Bennett gets the big tap forward. Cahill, Eckerman off the ground. Bennett overrun it. Cunningham works it out. Pulled off the ball. Not played, and Palmer goes in. Working hard for Faletic. He's got the free kick. Milan Faletic tucked deep in the right forward pocket. Port Adelaide doing all the attacking. And 18 points, not indicative of the amount of play they've enjoyed. Awkward looking kick. Centre half back. And Port Adelaide really would need to make more, take more advantage of their possession than that. Switching play across field. Palmer looks for Snabikla. He's got Robin White further afield. Drives towards that player. Couldn't pull it in as Belton closes on him. White puts it away, but White's got a free kick as Belton impede as White put the hand pass forward.
South to go into attack for only about the second time for the quarter. Port Adelaide 3 goals in the first 8 minutes, but then South has hung on. The last 12 minutes have been scoreless for both teams. 20.5 minutes into the first quarter of the 79 grand final. Robin White, 19 years of age, playing in his first grand final. Put the Panthers in towards the full forward area. Or the kick's a shocker, going right across. Hines lumbers to meet it, can't trap it. Baines in there, Collins swoops on it. He'll need help. Not a good handball. Tunnel ball out. Hoffner unloaded. Quickly in his fry, gets out a handball towards Harradine. Coming through strongly, Giles. A chance for Lenky pushing it. Slattery in there as well. Phillips back on the ball. Fry puts on the tackle, but the ball tumbles out of play. And South Adelaide now with its first real opportunity to score in this first quarter.
South Adelaide certainly have steadied very, very well indeed. 18 points down at the 7-minute mark, and now 21 minutes gone with the same score on the board. Dolan at the back. Hit forward by Belton. Hoffner drives a bad kick forward, and it's out of play on the full. Bruce Abernethy pulling it in, but it was certainly over the white line. Cox going short. Andrew Bennett quickly to play on, drives a high one. Through centre half forward. Up high went Bradmore. Mark Williams at the back. Put it into the path of Hines. Run down. Eckerman, but the free kick Port Adelaide's way. And Mark Williams will rally for the Magpies. Deep in the back pocket. Drives high and long, letting the wind work for him into the centre of the ground. Curtis up, but Bennett in front. Off the ground he goes. Harradine up. The ball evades that player. Keem in. Try to dribble it through. Hines out to Harradine. Williams once more breaks clear. Over to Belton. Port Adelaide are clear.
Belton looking to set up the short pass, but he goes long in towards forwards. The Bickler at the back. Evans lumbers to meet the ball, charges into the forward pocket. He'll want backup support. Gets the handball away. Coming through is Earl for South Adelaide. Taps it cleverly across goals. The Bickler there. Tackled by Dawson. He's under pressure. Loses the ball. Goes down to ground. And the free kick will go to John Bickler. Rather fortunate to get out of that as he changed tack and ran into trouble. Bickler chooses the outer side now, searches for Captain Baines out there. With him is Cahill, his shadow. One-on-one they go towards the line. Baines, Cahill. Keane comes into the action, but the ball goes out of play. Between half-forward, right and centre wing, Port Adelaide 3 goals. South yet to open their score.
Could well be a saving time for South Adelaide. Bennett hit back. Peter Hoffner around. Uses Big Dolan. Big fella's caught by Bennett and gets the free kick. Andrew Bennett from centre wing. Good distance into the breeze. Out there Hines, couldn't pull it in. Got help from Collins. Works it over, Harradine in. Back to Baines. Through goes Hannon, works it over high to Hoffner, who kicks to the half-forward line. Curtis couldn't pull it in. Good recovery. Wide he goes looking for Belton. A high ball. One-on-one. Evans versus Brooksby. Oh, a great mark by Tim Evans. Beautifully judged as he fell back behind Brooksby, having sucked him forward, and at second attempt pulled it in. He has kicked 1 goal. The last Port Adelaide goal at the 7-minute mark, with 24 having gone now. Evans puts his second one on the board for Port Adelaide to go 24 points clear, almost in the timeline.
Tremendous kicking by Port Adelaide. 4 shots, 4 goals, but they must have had at least 75 to 80% of the play in this first quarter. But that was Tim Evans at his best. Holding ground with his strong body. Brooksby in front position, could do nothing about it, but he held ground well to take a strong mark and then converted from about 20 metres out and poured off to a great start in the grand final. 4 goals, South Adelaide yet to score, and there's the disappointed Ross Aegis, the player who was left out of the 20. He's one of the 22 players named in Port Adelaide's side.
First ball to be lost in the crowd. and entering time on. At the centre bounce, we see Andrew Bennett of South Adelaide and Robert Dolan of Port. Awkward bounce, hit forward by Baines. Robin White in, hits back. Bennett Butler further forward. Hands and knees White. Eckerman for Port. Run down by Collins. Phillips kicks one forward. Hoffner up. The bounce back looking for Keane. Through goes Bradmore. He's run down by Keane, but cleverly got a kick away. Up comes Mousley. Evaded the boot of Belton. Mousley into the centre to find Butler.
Butler midfield, long handball. Bennett puts him under pressure, scoops it out, looking for Fry, overruns it. Williams there as well. Now Bennett butters up again. Try south forward, it's from Bennett. A chance now for Slattery. Waits clear, tries to run the tackle, throws the ball out, but the umpire has ruled that Slattery has run too far and has gone for holding the ball, and the free kick will be taken by Port Adelaide. Greg Phillips it is.
Kicks long, looking for Abernethy versus White. White recovers the better. Awkward hand pass to Fry. Abernethy throwing himself on the ball, and a bounce to take place on South's half-forward line. The Port Adelaide defence standing firm and continuing to apply stretch. Dolan front spot. Tap back, Fry, kick forward by Butler, but Phillips once more. A direct approach as he kicks a high ball virtually to centre half forward. Palmer had an airy. Folletic. Flanked by Dawson. Threw the ball away. And correctly adjudged for a free kick to Stuart Palmer of South.
Palmer at centre half back has Nabiqua wide. South steady play down. Cox gives the lead in short. Going towards that player, well directed. Cox still inside the half-back line. His 8th kick for the quarter. All been in defence, as South has been on the defensive for 99% of the time. Bennett over the top. Good luck, Dolan in front. Did it well. Abernethy gives him the run, but he's going in short towards centre. This could be Belton under pressure. Curtis tries to run the tackle. Gone for holding the ball. And it's Slattery up midfield now. In fact, he's check side of the centre circle to put the Panthers up over centre. Butler provides the run. Kicker's not a good one. Dropping short. Bradmore returns the ball to his half-forward line. Curtis, 2 minutes into time on. Curtis at centre half-forward. A strong breeze at his back, indicating he's going to kick long. Kim Curtis would be 65, 70 metres out from goal. Kicker's a towering torpedo punt, going to lob in the square. Evans can't handle it. Off the fingers, Cahill shoots in towards goal. I think that's going to be home. Oh, what a magnificent goal. Would have to be the Ken Max goal of the day on World of Sport this evening. A magnificent effort.
Oh, they don't come any better than that. And that's getting true value with the breeze at the back, going down and forced away. And Cahill, with his right foot right on the boundary line, nothing at all to look at. Perhaps the wind parted the goalpost for him. We'll say it did, because he split the centre without any doubt. His first goal and the 5th straight for Port Adelaide, with no reply from South.
At the centre bounce, Dolan putting in a good effort for Port Adelaide. Bennett over the top, gets the thump away. Dolan in again. Fry for South Adelaide. Forwards the ball now. The Panthers to full forward. Sorrell there. At the back is Lenky. A chance for South Adelaide now. Collins can't pick it up. Wants support. Gets clear. Tries to get it across to Harradine. He's circled around by Magpies, and there's the siren to end the quarter. And Port Adelaide have started the 1979 grand final in fine style. Port Adelaide 5 goals, lead South yet to score as we commence the second quarter of the 79 grand final. Hines gets a big touch towards the half-forward line. Fry over the top of a Port Adelaide player who'll come up for air in a moment, Bruce Abernethy, and the umpire in for a bounce. Excellent kicking by Port Adelaide with this breeze. It's a fishtail. It's pretty strong, but the goal by Darrell Cahill late in that quarter into time on was magnificent. Fry having trouble picking it up. Folletic and Mark Williams there over the top of that player, and once again the umpire intervenes.
Still within the square. Dolan playing very well. Hines and airy. Butler caught. Hines backs up, dribbles one forward. Cahill back there. Collins with him. In goes Eckerman. Kicking forward was Hannon, but it's taken by Hines. And the big distance. Can kick a ball a long way when he gets onto one, and no doubt he'll let the wind work for him. It's a booming screw punt. It'll drop in the square. Linky up there, but over fingers, and one behind. So South Adelaide's first score on the board, 1 point. Trevor Sorrell, the Port Adelaide custodian. Defensive flank, outer side, dropping short. Hines in, taken by Harradine, works it to Fry in the open. Eddie Fry steadies, goes towards goal, but it's way offline. And at 1 point registered for the second behind to South Adelaide.
The exact opposite of Port Adelaide, 5 without a miss. South 2 pings at it in the first minute of the game for 2 points. Darrell Cahill appears to be playing a loose man in defence now, an expert at it, as we mentioned before. Sorrell to the outer side, a longer kick. Clark read it much better than Poletic as the ball dropped into the breeze. And Gary Clark could be too far out to score, although with this breeze, 60 metres is not beyond anyone. Uses the drop punt, going to drop short on the square. Players set themselves. Sorrell forces the ball away. Bradmore at the bottom of the pack. Bennett over the top. Harradine comes out with the ball, but the umpire will bounce. 20 metres out from the South Adelaide goal. Bennett and Dolan. Dolan over the head to Cahill. Wild kick, could float out of breeze. No, just kicks it into touch. And the ball will be thrown back into play on South's half-forward left flank.
Panthers looking to capitalise now. Schneebeckler doing battle with Dolan, with Bennett late on the scene. Tried to work it to Baines. Ackerman intervenes. Loose hand pass. Keane tagged and gets the free kick. Stephen Keane, who correctly handballed the ball away and was then tagged. Will go for distance. Long. Well directed. The apron of the square. Forced to ground. Giles dribbles one forward. White versus Abernethy. Oh, the push wasn't seen. Bruce Abernethy sprints clear. White in pursuit, but Abernethy kicks through half forward. Evans out. Oh, fine lead, but he couldn't pull it in. Run down by Philip Brooksby and holding the ball.
Quickly they play on. Brooksby short towards midfield. Hines can't pick it up. Taken away now by Mark Williams, but a free kick is going to Hines of South Adelaide. Peter Hines from midfield. Put the Panthers into attack. Crowd starting to warm up now. Another long kick from Hines. Up towards full forward, off the pack. Taking it is Collins. Hooks around the corner, going in high, going in far enough. And South have got their first goal on the board. Philip Collins.
A magnificent goal by Collins. And that from his 5th kick. Posted South's first after Hines had booted long. And he scouted the pack beautifully as it was hit down. Sighted the goals onto the left boot and literally split the centre. Just what South Adelaide needed. On 1-2, they trail Port Adelaide 5 goals.
4.5 minutes into the second quarter as South Adelaide make their bid in 79. Dolan gets the tap away, but it's straight to Butler. South into attack again towards Colin. Can't handle this one. In goes Bennett, can't pick it up. Fry at the bottom of the pack with Darrell Cahill. And a bounce ball by the umpire. Centre half forward. 40 metres out from the South Adelaide goal. Dolan and Bennett. Bennett gets the better of the bounce, back to Baines. Baines smothered off the boot. Well played by Phillips. Harradine hooks around the corner, shoots in long, coming back with the breeze, but not far enough. And 1 point is signalled to the Panther half forward.
21 points the difference now. Trevor Sorrell had a fine season with Port Adelaide. And no doubt they're looking for a big one today. Gets good distance, it holds up in the end. Dolan up, it's forced to ground. And over the top, Butler. Kick forward by Baines. Cahill's there for Port. Saving mark, quick to move it, however. Out to the running Bradmore. Closing on him was Collins, but a free kick given away. And Ian Bradmore, the recipient at half-back. Call to play on, he slips at the crucial moment, allows Butler in. Works it to Baines. An awkward kick goes forward. Out comes Linky. All Port Adelaide back there as Sorrell bounds away with the ball.
Robin White 19 and Bruce Abernethy 17. The bounce favours Fry. Harradine inside half forward line, puts it in high towards goal, but the umpire starts to gallop, and that's gone out of play on the full. Not a good effort by Harradine. He was well clear at the time. Very loose shot at goal. Coach Hayden Bunton just giving instructions to the runner what he wants done. I would think he'd want South to straighten up their attacks. That's the dead pocket on the outer side. Port Adelaide would be quite happy to have the ball in that area for the entire quarter.
Cahill slowly hugging the boundary line. A wall of players up there. Phillips awarded the mark. Greg Phillips at the 7-minute mark, but the umpire is going to take this away, I think, from Phillips. No, he's ruled it's out of play. That's a rather strange one. But nevertheless, a throw-in is ruled. And to do battle, it will be Dolan of Port and Bennett of South. Phillips late on the scene gets the thump, but a free kick Bennett's way of South Adelaide for interference from Dolan. Andrew Bennett now. A fishtail breeze coming from his left to right. He'll push the ball out to the left goal post. Well directed to the goal square, looking for Linky. He's scored too! What a leap! Oh, a great mark by Jeff Linky. Was virtually the only player to really judge the flight of the ball. The others up like Gay Abannon, and he fixed his eyes on that ball and took a fine catch. Jeff Linky, the spearhead of South Adelaide, posts his first goal. In fact, that was his first touch. But what a touch it was for South Adelaide's second goal.
Yes, he read the ball coming in a lot better than the opposition. In actual fact, he almost got underneath the ball, but it was only a superb leap very late on the piece that saw him climb high to pull down the mark, and South Adelaide are on their way. 2 goals, 3 to Port Adelaide's 5 goals, and Port Adelaide in turn haven't been able to get their ball or the ball past the half-forward line in this second quarter.
Hines still in ruck for South, as is also Dolan of Port. Dolan doing well, got the hand on it. Cox caught Williams in over the top of the ball. It was Belton, but another bounce has been called for. Still by the centre circle. Dolan front spot. Phillips helps him, but snared by Cox, who kicks forward. Doubling back Cahill. Up comes Hannon, who beautifully took out Collins. Allows Cahill through. He couldn't quite find Hoffner at centre wing.
Just in South's attacking division, Hines and Dolan. Hines in front position, Dolan cleverly over the back. Clark can't get rid of the ball. Cahill runs into Fry, but gets a kick away. It's a loose ball midfield. Who'll get there first? Shane Butler in all, runs into his own man. A chance now for Curtis. Leaves the ball behind. Mousley comes to meet him, climbs over the top of that player, almost put a saddle on him, but the umpire will now call for a bounce. Curtis looked like he was going to bolt clear, but left the ball behind. Bounce midfield. Curtis goes for the thump. Forced forward or in defence by Fry. Williams gets a big thump away. Earl gets a bad bounce. Here's a chance now for Curtis. Puts it over to Bradmore. Belton it was. Clifford on the lead is Cunningham. Can't quite get there. Evans, he'll need support. Working the ball into the pocket. Clifford comes into Shepherd. Earl back on the ball. Well shepherded by Palmer. And he brings the ball away towards Gary Clark on the half-back line. Gets an awkward bounce. Fanatic. Can't pick it up. Umpire in for the bounce. Port Adelaide in attack on their half-forward line.
Bounce called for. 15 points to margin to Port. Hines out the back. Hoffner head over the ball. Fry wormed underneath to get it to Keane. He drives clear of centre wing. Collins out the back. Phillips over to Dawson. Port Adelaide through centre wing. A floating punt kick. Clifford out. Earl there with him. Earl comes away. Drives short. Looking for Cox. Muffs what he should have taken and then gets a trip. Phil Cox lucky to get out of that one. Kick number 10 goes to boot. A floating punt kick to the half-forward line. Out the back it goes. Bradmore's there. Up comes Linky. Couldn't trap it. Bradmore pulled off the ball, gets the free kick.
Bradmore, free kick, 20 metres out from the goal. Coming in after a two-match injury period. Dolan, Clark late on the scene. Well done, Dolan. Kept his eyes on the ball and took a good mark. Inside half-back line. Phillips gives a lead short. Centre half-back. The run is provided now. Giles across the half-back line. Long towards half-forward. Earl getting back for South Adelaide and takes a fine mark. An awkward one, and he took it well. Floating about in the breeze. South Adelaide's David Earl from half-back flank. Drop punch to the half-forward line. Over the back of the pack, Cahill. Towards Dawson. Curtis. Shane Butler. Cunningham. Abernethy. Port Adelaide go forward. Evans on the lead. Too far for that player. One-on-one. Into the pocket. Brooksby. Evans gets the kick away. Brings it back towards Baines. Deep in defence. Slings out the handball now. Keane kicks long and will find Hines.
At centre wing, Peter Hines. The hand pass to Fry. South preparing for an interchange as Snabekla traps it. Tried to work it to Fry. Phillips works it to Dawson. Port Adelaide going to half forward. Keane back. Works it to Baines. He kicks to centre wing. All South Adelaide. Phil Cox stops what he should have taken. Work to Mousley. Mousley kicks a high ball. Hawkins, fresh on the ground, takes the mark at centre wing.
Hawkins, I didn't see who he replaced, Jerry, but Hawkins gets the first kick. Goes towards Clark. Late on the scene was Giles. Mousley in for the crumbs. If he can pick it up, they're in business. The handball is not a good one. Belton intercepts. Flanking wide is Abernethy, but Belton plays well at centre half-back. To drive the ball, Curtis on his lonesome half-forward line. Takes his eyes off the ball, but recovers well. Boots long towards Evans. The bounce would aside. Brooksby, brilliant rebound. Kick short. Hawkins again, midfield, and the Panthers go into attack. Palmer, dummies. Kicks in long towards the big sticks, but it's all Port Adelaide. Hannon, Collins, right on the line. He'll need backup support, concedes ground, and finds Eddie Fry in the full forward left pocket. Fry about 30 metres out from goal, but in a most difficult angle. Hawkins replaced the Bickler. Fry has the breeze coming in from right to left, which should help. Oh, the kick is a shot off the side of his boot. An atrocious kick, out of bounds on the full.
Perhaps justice was done there. I think that ball was certainly out of play when Collins went over the line, but the boundary umpire caught out of sight. Sorrell taking his time. Ball which holds up at half-back. Dolan over the top. My word, isn't he performing well? Inside half-back. Drives a good clearing kick over the half-back line. Folletic, good body work. But Mousley out of the way. Milan Folletic as Port tic-tac forward. Goes for distance at centre wing. Mark Williams up in front, spot on grab. And still they play possession football. To the half-forward line, but he's put out of play on the full. And South Adelaide will come back through Butler as Bell goes onto the ground and Gary Clark to the bench.
Shane Butler from half-back flank. Kicker's not a good one, dropping short. Mousley. A chance now for Slattery. Beautifully tackled to Baines. Free kick, Mark Williams. Well played. Having a good final is Mark Williams. His sixth kick. Long one to the half-forward line. Mousley, Evans trying to get the handball away. Abernethy off it, White through for the Panthers, does it well. Slattery across the half-forward line to Fry, traps it well, 30 metres out, hooked in towards goal, going in high, going in offline. 1 point to the South Adelaide half-forward.
The game taking up a similar pattern to the first term. Port Adelaide had 3 goals in the first 7 minutes. South Adelaide 2 in the first 8. And now the stalemate as the respective defences settle down to their task. 14-point margin to Port, 16 minutes into the second term. South Adelaide, however, have had one more shot. The uprights, 6-5. Forced to ground. Forward by Dawson, looking for Giles. He gets running help from Abernethy, but the ball put out of play on the full, and South Adelaide will come back in through their skipper, Jeff Baines. Favours a drop punt, gets good distance through half forward. Bennett up at the back. Bradmore trying to work through a game. Cahill, Phillips, Cunningham. Whitey goes to Dawson. In turn, Giles. Baines closes on him. Run down by Collins. Play on the call. Off the ground goes Butler. Bennett driving blindly around the corner. Out of play. Throw in 10 metres from the right behind post of South.
Desperate defence by Port Adelaide. It's standing up well. It has done so all season. 17 minutes into the second quarter. Dolan and Bennett at the throw-in. 10 metres around from the South Adelaide goal. Hawkins at the back tries to grab it down. Cahill goes in, ducks the chutney, slips out the handball. Bennett against the tide. Giles over the ball, slips it cleverly to Hannon. Hannon grubbers one back towards centre wing. It's all Hines back there. What's back up support? Too slow to get rid of it. Called to play on. White over his head. It's not a good handball at all. Williams soccers the ball forward. A race on the outer side. Fry there. Fanatic soccers clear, and the ball tumbles out of play once more. 5 goals Port Adelaide, 2-4 South.
Grim. Cunningham hooks around. Mousley's in the way for South. Drives direct now as he switches play. Centre half forward. Leakey taken out. On the bottom, Sorrell works it to Giles and turn Phillips. Back to Giles. Set up the run. Drives to the defensive flank and the ball holds up in the wind. Fanatic versus Fry. Fanatic off the deck. And again we see a throw in on the defensive flank between centre wing and the half forward line of Port. Dolan and Hines up high. Cunningham back to Cahill. Through centre wing, a floating punt kick. Cox infringes, and the free kick goes to Belden of Port Adelaide. The outer flank, against the line, drives deep to the pocket at the 19-minute mark. Forced away by Brooksby. Port, through Williams, go forward to the lip of the goal square. Keane forces, Clifford closes for Port. Drives towards an unprotected goal, but the breeze bends the ball right away for one behind. The first point for Port Adelaide on 5 goals won. They lead South 2-4.
Port have done something South couldn't do, and that's score into the breeze. Kick is short, finds Mousley at centre half back. Elects to play on quickly, kicks out over midfield. That's a long kick. Hines at the back waits the outcome of the ball. Goes in towards that player. Taken out by Bradmore. Port Adelaide moving smoothly out of defence as he rebounds to the half-forward line. Up there it's Palmer who spoils. Coming in Fanatic. Butler back in defence. Gets run over. Here's a chance now for Cunningham. 40 metres out. Gives away the handball. It's not a good one. Palmer can't pick it up. Fanatic still in the action. Palmer gets the push and the free kick inside the half-back flank. Stuart Palmer for the Panthers, playing centre half-back today. 193rd game. Kick to centre wing. Big leap by Cahill, unsuccessful. Eddie Fry takes them up.
Fry at centre wing. Beautiful screw punt. Clears the half-forward line. Up there Hawkins. Bursting through Harry. Left it behind, but Collins is there. Put it on its way, but he's offline. In fact, it belted the post. Bad luck for Collins. Already got 1 goal for South. But South moved to 2 goals 5 now, trailing Port 5-1 as Sorrell looking to set up and gain some distance over to Bradmore. King closes, steals the ball away, out to Linky, awkward kick goes in, Collins, out comes Hannon, left behind for Dawson. He kicks wide looking for Williams, but the ball's out of play on the full.
Kick on the outer side, Eddie Fry. About 50 metres from goal. The breeze will come in from his left to right. Puts the ball high in the air, drifts back towards the square. Dawson sets himself, Dolan up the back of the pack there. Hines suckers it away. Belton for Port Adelaide, strong in defence, chips it short. Hoffner can't quite make it. A chance for Keane, floats it back in the air towards the square. They settle. Who's there? Great mark taken in defence by Trevor Sorrell. Tony and Bradford. Sorry, stick Dolan. Dolan goes to the outer side. Fry. Hooks around the corner, in towards full forward. Collins there, waiting for the outcome. Is hot. Tackle placed on him by Sorrell, and the umpire has ruled holding the ball.
Port defence standing firm. A 14-point margin, having led by 30 at the first change. Sorrell's kick gets good distance into the breeze. Andrew Bennett, a late leaper. Down to Cahill, back to Eckerman. Run down by Keane. Bennett. Eckerman in again. Stalemate. Bounce. Just inside the half-forward line of South. They need goals. Time running away. 22 minutes gone. Dolan performing superbly as Bennett hits forward. Out of play for a throw in left forward pocket. South Adelaide having to play but can't get the impression on the scoreboard. Hit forward, Dawson smothered by Hawkins. Bennett now. Cahill takes it. Hoffner goes in. Keeps it in play. Bell tried to work it around, but again it's a throw-in.
Everybody work in the pocket. Port Adelaide desperate in defence. South Adelaide can't get clear at the 23-minute mark. Hines in front, Dolan the tap once more. Back towards Collins. Out of play on the full. Had to jam it onto his boot quickly. Under enormous pressure. And the free kick will go South Adelaide's way to be taken in the full forward pocket by Chris Bell. Ron Haitley, the South wingman with the broken leg, anxiously watching his teammates in the 79 final. Bell chips it in the air, coming back with a boot. That's the second time South Adelaide has hit the post in the last 4 minutes of play, and Hayden Bunton would not be happy with the situation at all.
And doesn't the face tell the tale? What does one have to do, he says? Sorrell, again getting good distance. Holds up at the last minute. Oh, a fine taken there by Hawkins. Right in the middle of that pack. Second grab as he came down, keeping the eyes on the ball. Not renowned for the most reliable of kicks. Rob Hawkins. A floating punt kick tumbling to the pocket. Up high. Oh, what a mark. A glorious leap by Linky. Has kicked one goal from his first kick in the second term. His third about to go to boot now. 24.5 minutes gone in the second term, and a vital kick for South. 13-point margin has been reduced to 7 as the second goal goes on the board from the boot of Jeff Linky.
Well, that's a tremendous fight back by South Adelaide. They could have been excused for panicking when they were down 5 goals to nothing at quarter time. But through patience and perseverance, they've gradually whittled away the Port Adelaide lead. And at the 24-minute mark of this second quarter, they trailed by only 7 points. Now, from that time to the end of the first quarter, Port Adelaide kicked 2 goals. So the Panthers well in the grand final at Football Park.
Real life in the game as Dolan again does battle, this time with Bennett. The tap away, worked through by Fry, intervened by Phillips over to Abernethy at the centre. The bounce evades Hoffner, down comes Cox. Can't get through, works it over to Baines, flanked by Keane. Waited for the bounce, which helped him, straightens it up to the square, up high Hines, couldn't pull it in. Through comes Eckerman, now Hannon. Wide he goes to Folletic, and Port get out of defence once more.
Folletic looking for Hoffner at centre wing. Curtis up over the back of the pack, pulls in a brilliant one-handed mark. Had his eyes on the ball all the way, did it well as he drives Port Adelaide to the half-forward line. Clifford, Mousley, Earl back there, Dawson as well, Belton and Clifford now. Clifford with the ball, looking to pass off. He's got Williams clear, but he's going into the pocket. Evans can't handle a situation. Brooksby does it well. Back to Earl, and South Adelaide will kick clear. The pass going in towards the centre of the ground, not a good one. Dolan, Cunningham provides the run at the half-forward line. Butler's going to have to cut him off. Back to Cahill. Cahill circles the pack, slips out the pass. Clifford. Port tic-tacking into attack. Hoffner gives the run. Williams wants it in long. Evans in the square. Clifford going back to kick long. Valuable seconds ticking away as Port kick into this breeze. The ball starting to drop short. Williams can't handle it. Port play on. Evans wants support. Gets around well. Hooks it back towards Dawson. Taps it cleverly to Williams. In towards the open goal. What's the decision? Offline, 1 point.
Port Adelaide really threatening into this breeze, more so than South did in the first term. Stuart Palmer, long to the lead of Fry. Fry beginning to get it loose more often, drives South deep through half forward. Out the back, Bradmore. Finally, Judge Mark coming back from injury and performing very creditably. With his 7th kick, goes wide. 2.5 minutes of time on goal. Down to Collins, flanked by Fry. Chips away short, Hines. And the big South ruckman well within distance of goal. A 40-metre kick, and the breeze had his back. An 8-point margin to Port Adelaide. About to be reduced. Hines shot. Pulled across the face of goal, and 1 point as the result. So it's 3 goals, 7. South Adelaide clear, trailing Port on 5-2.
Peter Hines, 2 points on the board now. Sorrell to the outer side. The ball starting to drop quickly. The pack fly. Folletic waits the outcome. Cunningham tries to run the gauntlet. Folletic does it well. Forces the ball back towards midfield. Cahill and Bell. 1-1. Here's a chance. Breaking through now. Quickly is Hoffner. Hoffner at centre wing. Hooks around the corner to the lead now of Curtis. Curtis takes it on the outer side. Centre wing. Wants to play on, but no one running past. Now he kicks towards the centre half forward position. The ball going to drop very short. The bounce favours Dawson. Gives away the handball. Cahill. Port Adelaide go in long towards full forward. Brooksby getting back, but another point will go on the board to the Magpies through the agency of Darrell Cahill.
8-point margin to Port Adelaide. Philip Brooksby short to Keane on the half-back line. Stephen Keane going for distance, favours a screw punt. It carries clear of the centre square. Hines out the back. Up comes Collins. 3-on-1. Off the deck went Hines, working it to big Rob Hawkins. He couldn't get it out, however. Harradine goes to the bottom of the pack. A stalemate rule for a bounce, centre half forward of South. 4.5 minutes of time on played, and virtually half of the 1979 grand final gone. Hines, free kick the other way, however, and Robert Dolan will take the free kick for interference as half-time rings out here at Football Park in the SANFL 79 grand final. Port Adelaide 5 goals, 33, leading South Adelaide 3-7-25.
South 3-7 as we get into the second half of the 1979 grand final. Port's turn to go with the breeze, but it's South that go into attack through Baines early in this quarter. Gives the run out there to Collins. He'll be first there. Tackling him is Hannon. Collins and Hannon. Eckerman as well. He'll get the handball. Well played to Hoffner. Port Adelaide go down the outer side. He runs into trouble. Runs into it twice. Loses possession of the ball. Butler for South. Cunningham gives the tackle, but it's an illegal tackle. And Shane Butler for South Adelaide takes his free kick from check side of centre wing on the outer side. South, despite a big effort in that second quarter, edged back Port Adelaide, but they hit the post 3 times, and therefore they trailed by 8 points at half-time. Mark Williams
Goes long, again using the breeze. Curtis at the back, bursts it forward. Hines through. There to help him is Earl. Hines dragging it back, gives it to Butler. He leaves it behind. Plenty of time to get around, however. Again around Cunningham. Kicks to centre wing. Keem out there, through his legs. Wall of players. Phillips working hard. Cox on the bottom of the pack. Baines goes in under. Hoffner about to come out, and a bounce called for between centre wing and the half-forward line of Port. How often this year have we seen Port Adelaide put in a match-winning burst in this third term, and that's exactly what they'll have to do today. Bennett forces the ball out of play. Dolan and Hines. A familiar pattern. Hines hitting it forward on that occasion. Cunningham worked it clear. Trying to get around was big Dolan. And over the top went Cunningham once more. Baines through the legs of the Port defender, and once more a bounce. The opening 2 minutes of this vital third term. Hines bursts it forward. Kick back by Hoffner. A high ball inside half forward. Fisted clear by Clark. And once more it's a throw in right forward pocket.
Port Adelaide attacking in the dead pocket. South helping them keep the ball there. Palmer and Curtis towards Butler. Cunningham. Cunningham measures his length. The ball towards the line. Butler careers off with the ball. Curtis has the pace to get there first. He's conceding ground back to centre wing. The run is provided from Ackerman as he rebounds off the half-back line. He'll want backup support. Looks for Belton, but it's Palmer who takes the ball away. Can't get clear. A long handball goes over from Curtis. Earl, Clifford, Slattery. Clifford wanting backup support as well. Cunningham can't quite rake it in. Back in defence for South Adelaide is Keem. No, Robin White it is, but another bounce by the umpire. Port Adelaide kept on that outer side, the dead pocket. Hines and Curtis. Hines traps it. Clark out in front of Earl. Earl on the half-back line. The handball is not a good one. Mark Williams hooks it back towards the pocket. Clifford spoiled from behind, but the umpire has paid the mark. And Bomber Clifford has a chance now from 30 metres out to edge Port Adelaide further clear. Has kicked one. This is a difficult kick. Tucked on about a 60-degree angle. Got one on the first quarter. Evans is in the square, but he won't be any use on this occasion because Clifford will eat the distance. Taking his time, an important kick for Port Adelaide. Could herald a big run. The kick floating back with the breeze. I think it's edged its way clear. Goal, point one to Clifford. His second, and Port Adelaide move through to 6-3 to South 3-7. Top action on 7's big replay.
A vital goal for Port Adelaide, as we said earlier, and so often they've put in a spurt in the third term, and that's just what they have to do. The mark paid as Slattery appeared to force it away at the right time, but Port now 6-3 leads South 3-7.
Hines and Dolan. Hines gets the benefit of the bounce, taps it towards Keem. He lets Fry have the run of the ball, hooks it to the half-forward line. It's a vacant paddock. Phillips gets a bad bounce. Through goes Harradine. Had a quite one. Sorrell rebounding from fullback. Gets the handball back now from Phillips. Port across the centre line. Find Cunningham. He in turn Hoffner. Hoffner gets shepherded by Williams. Hoffner's kick is not a good one. It's high. Athletic and underneath it. Up over the top comes Slattery, who appears to be running loose in defence, and he forces the ball out of play.
Hines for South. Curtis for Port. Hines a wild swing, takes the ball about 5 metres further afield for a repeat performance from the man in white. Peter Hines of South Adelaide playing in perhaps his last game for the Panthers, but Curtis goes up, out the back looking for Faletic. Hines goes in to help, works it clear, but Cunningham snares it, gets pace, drives towards goal and the lead of Dawson. Oh, greatly directed ball by Cunningham. Spotted the lead of Dawson come in direct from the square and dispatched it beautifully. But it's Dawson with 1 goal on the board and an opportunity for 2 quick ones for Port within 5 minutes of this third term. Mark Dawson hooking the ball, 1 point the result. 6 goals for Port. They lead South 3-7.
Phil Brooksby for South Adelaide to bring the ball back into play. Will obviously go to the outer side, the dead pocket. 6 minutes into this third quarter. Oh, it's not a good kick, dropping short. Fine mark has been paid, and Clifford took it low to the ground. The ball dropped very quickly indeed, and little Earl could do to stop Clifford taking the mark. Well, he booted one, perhaps from a worse angle than this, only about 2 minutes ago. He's got two. Clifford, 45 metres out, 45-degree angle to the lake end. Kick is high, looks to be straight. He's hit the post. Bad luck for Clifford, he can't believe it. South Adelaide suffered a similar fate in that second quarter when they hit it 3 times. Clifford now, his first time, and Port Adelaide's first. Brooksby.
And that defensive flank, a floating punt kick dropping short, up high Fry. Has been paid the mark. Climbed high over the top of Cunningham. Eddie Fry lifted his game in the second term.
Immediately goes to the check side on the outer side, and he does it well. Forward pocket, boots in towards the sticks, but he's well offline, off the side of his boot, out of play on the full. Most unlike 17-year-old Bruce Abernethy. 8 minutes into the third quarter. Brooksby. It's a high kick going back towards the half-back line. Hines is in there, Bennett as well. Hines tries to get the handball out to Baines. Fry, finally it's Hines. Cunningham smothered. Belton on the half-forward line, scoops it quickly to Ackerman. Quickly tackling him now is Mousley, one-on-one. And the ball will be bounced at centre-half forward.
South Adelaide's forwards pulled right out of position now as Port begin to dictate the trend. Curtis up. Hawkins there for South down to Mousley. Wide looking for Cox, intervening Williams of Port, but he goes to the ground. Mousley in. Loose one back, Palmer. Overrun by Cahill. A stalemate for a bounce inside Port's half-forward line. Hines lifting his game in this third term after Dolan controlled the rucks in the first half. This time Curtis the big thump forward. Mousley couldn't control it. Slattery through, but he's put it out of play on the full. A little unfortunate. He had to break between two Port players. The ball connected with his boot, and it's Cunningham, the Port Adelaide skipper, and so often we've seen him convert from angles similar to this. Ryan Cunningham chips away, but it's right across the face of goal, and Dawson once more. Well, he's proving a real danger up there for South Adelaide. Slipped in front. Bennett was late on the scene. There was little he could do. And Dawson, who's kicked one goal, a tight angle, but it's only a 5-metre kick. Plenty of time. I doubt he'll favour the drop punt. A vital kick at the 10-minute mark. He's got it home. Dawson posts his second goal, and Port Adelaide go 22 points clear. A vital break.
Port Adelaide completely on top at the moment, locking the ball in their forward lines. When South Adelaide defence does struggle clear, they've got nobody up forward to take the ball within approximate attacking range, and Port Adelaide's half-back line is just too strong. But on that occasion, we saw Bucky Cunningham get the free kick for the kick out of bounds on the full, and loose checking by the South Adelaide defence saw Dawson convert for his second goal.
Dolan taking front spot. Bennett gets the thump over to Baines. Handling him was Folletic. Wall of players piling up, and again a bounce called for in the centre.
Port have done a good job in smothering Baines.
Dolan. Fry the big tap, but Folletic snares it. Kicks through half forward. Up high from behind Slattery. Clifford's there. Takes it. A snapshot towards goal over the head of Evans, but 1 point is the result. Port Adelaide now move to 7-6, leading South Adelaide 3-7. Phil Brooksby kicking in. Slattery there with Clifford. Slattery going back against it. Tackled high and takes the free kick in the back pocket.
Slattery coming up limping, running a loose man in defence. South under pressure, trailing by 23 points. Wayne Slattery, a brilliant performer in the preliminary final against the Bulldogs. Kicks long to the outer side. Bennett, Dolan off the back of the pack. Slipped out now to Giles. High in towards full forward. Setting himself back there is Slattery again. Earl gives chase. Slips out the handball looking for Mousley. Keane, Cox and Harradine. South have got all their players in defence. And the ball's out of bounds once more.
Already this heavy ground is starting to tell toll. Giles has got cramp at centre wing.
Coming through there is Clifford. Oh, he must be gone for holding the ball. And the South Adelaide player, no, the umpire is going to rule a throw in. A little bit of heat entering the game. Yes, the free kick is going the way of David Earl for holding the ball as Clifford tried to crash the tackle. Earl chips towards half-back flank. Big flight, forwarded by Curtis. Slattery, Williams over the top, and it's Slattery's free kick.
Wayne Slattery roaming loose across that half-back line. Relying on distance. Fires a high one, it holds up, will drop at centre wing. Dolan in the front of the pack. The side, Hawkins claims the mark and is paid. Rob Hawkins. In no hurry to get on with the game. A ball which really holds up. Didn't clear centre wing, but Collins read the play well. Ducked in the front of the pack. And South looking to go forward. The 8th kick from Rover Collins goes short to Hines. Hannon close with Eckerman, but the mark goes to Peter Hines. South Adelaide's still yet to clear the half-forward line. Along that defensive flank, tic-tacking up with 14 minutes gone in this third term. Trying to open it up. The hand pass to Bennett. Through half-forward now. Out came Hawkins. Fry there also. Port Adelaide working hard. The loose one is out to Abernethy breaking clear. The speedster drives Port up to half-forward. Butler at the back of the pack. Taken by Cahill. Kick forward. Keem out with Dawson. Comes Evans. Brooksby in pursuit. Evans bundles Slattery out. Brooksby takes possession. Throws his body over the ball, and once more there's a bounce.
The heavy bodies going in. Players getting a little bit tense in the 79 grand final. Port Adelaide by 23 points, 7-6 to 3-7. Port 30 metres out from their goal. Evans goes for the fist. Taken, however, by Baines from Bennett. Gives a chance now to Shane Butler. Centimetres inside the line. Doesn't really try to save the situation. Content to let the ball run out of play. South defending desperately as Port make their bid. A good tap away. Slattery back towards Abernethy and Robin White. And once more, the ball is out of play. I would think 80% of the play this afternoon has been on that outer side. A dead pop. Evans and Bennett, Clifford, Baines, Cunningham. And this time we see a free kick going the way of Andy Bennett, is it? Yes, Andrew Bennett.
South Adelaide ruckman at the 15.5-minute mark. Gets good distance to centre wing. Dolan again in front. Hines trying to hit it to ground. With the Port Adelaide ruckman. Or is it the South one? Hawkins, his 5th. Drives to the half-forward line. Clark back there. Almost judged the flight of the ball. Williams throws the body over the ball. Hannon there also. And another bounce will be called for. Now it's over the line for a throw-in. 23-point margin to Port. Dolan with the help of Phillips, but out the back it goes to Baines. Dribbles one through. Bradmore reading the play well. Turns the tide for Port. A floating punt kick to the centre. Curtis up. The bounce favours him. Butler closes. Palmer helps. Over to Mousley. Folletic with Mousley. Snared by Curtis. Beautiful tackle, Palmer. The run to Baines. Uses Eddie Fry. He drives short. There's Linky. Beautiful fisted away by Eckerman. Sorrell out. Fry in. Eckerman. All clear to Linky. He goes towards goal, but 1 point is the result. And that's the first score South Adelaide have been able to manage at the southern end of Football Park.
Yes, they're certainly doing it the hard way. Port Adelaide defence playing a tremendous game. Sorrell comes straight down ground, as well he might, covers plenty of distance. Cunningham at the back, but it's taken by Butler to Harradine. The Panthers go forward again, not a good kick. Hines getting underneath the ball, throws himself at it and takes the mark. 40 metres out from goal. The big fella had to make metres to get there and did it well, as the ball was low to the turf when he took it in. But he could be outside his distance. Port Adelaide warming up an interchange player. That would be Andy Porplesia. The kick is on the way from Hines, not a good one. The bad bounce. A chance now for Port Adelaide to clear. Through Hoffner, he can't pick it up. In there was Collins. Players go to ground, and the umpire will come in and bounce on South's half-forward line. 7-6 Port Adelaide, 3-8 South, 17 minutes into this third quarter. A tough, slogging grand final. Dolan, Bennett gets the big fist away, gives a chance now to Mousley, playing in attack, up high. They settle themselves. Phillips can't take it. Butler tries to crash his way through. In comes Lenke, wants backup support. Cunningham for Port Adelaide. Well clear, gets the handball over to Hoffner, back to Cunningham in the double play, and Port Adelaide kick clear towards centre wing. Eddie Fry sets it up for Harradine. Butler under pressure, a long one over to Harradine, not a good pass. Bennett gets Collins, gets the kick away. Harradine gets shoved out of it. Tough work. Collins in the pocket, gets legged, and he gets the free kick.
South Adelaide throwing down the gauntlet to Port Adelaide at this stage, going into a stiff breeze, and Robert Dolan goes to the interchange bench for the first time. Forced to ground by the Port defence. Cahill in. The bounce favours Harradine. He chips to the right forward pocket. Out comes Hannon. Drives it back looking for Folletic, and the ball out of play for a throw-in. A breather for the Port defence. They're under a bit of stretch at the moment. Bennett versus Curtis, who got it back, but Baines smothers the ball, and a bounce called for half-forward line of South.
South keeping their ball in attack at the moment. Dolan, who's done such a tremendous job for Port Adelaide, getting a well-earned rest, and I would think he'd rucked the entire last quarter. Cunningham's dispossessed. Harradine goes for the safety of the line, and a throw-in will take place on South's half-forward line. 7-6 to 3-8, 19 minutes in. South desperate for a score. Bennett, Curtis, the back of the pack is Hawkins. Back towards Butler, can't bring it in, and another throw-in half-forward flank.
It's got everything that a grand final should have. Johnny Slabickler warming up on the sideline as Bennett tried to work it down. Hawkins in to help. Hoffner dribbling one forward, puts it out of play on the full. Port Adelaide now starting to make mistakes under pressure. Could this be a match-winning period for South Adelaide and their first premiership since 1964? They're settling well. Harradine to the half-forward line. Hines up. Oh, great mark. Had himself set for that. Collins played on, but the ball will be brought back. The umpire ruling the mark paid, and Hines will take the kick from back on the half-forward line. The 20-minute mark of this third term, and hopefully for South Adelaide that Peter Hines can make better use of the ball on this occasion than he did 3 minutes ago when he took a sliding mark and kicked the crossfield for Port to clear.
The crowd giving umpire Schofield a hard time, but the decision was correct. He'd paid the mark to Hines, and players had stopped when Collins bowled it off.
Slattery's gone to the bench. The Vickler's back on the ground, and the action with Peter Hines. An awkward-looking kick goes in forward. Bradmore in front. A fine saving mark for Port.
He's done particularly well in defence for Port Adelaide, and certainly justified the selectors' faith in him after 2 matches out with an injury. Baines, Mousley, Harradine working the ball. Baines now throws it out. No teammate available. Hoffner at centre wing, hooks around the corner to the half-forward line, just bounces into touch. White comes across to meet the ball. Stephen Keem it was, with Mark Dawson, the ball out of play. Now Port Adelaide have got the ball in attack, leading by 22 points. Ruck's getting caught behind the play. Baines is forced to go for it for South. He goes back towards the line. Harradine gives the handball away, but it's a low one, intent on going over the line, and he succeeds in doing just that. A throw-in almost at the interchange gates. Now the Rucks are up with it. Curtis and Bennett. Cahill, Harradine, and another bounce.
South Adelaide holding on extremely well. 22 minutes gone in this third term. They trail by 22 points, and it's a 5-goal breeze, with Port Adelaide the advantage in this third term. Curtis, Hoffner, dribbling one forward. Portplecia quickly forward. Dawson. Mark Dawson on the half-forward line. No leads, goes for distance, but he's got a 15-metre penalty, and that could well put Dawson within scoring distance. The breeze going from his right to left. He'll take plenty of right goal post. If he can get it up high enough, the breeze will certainly make it travel. Former North Melbourne player has kicked 2 valuable goals for Port. And if he could notch this one, it would be the necessary lift that Port require to break the stranglehold that South have got at the moment. Favours a drop punt, but it didn't quite curl. Will drop short, forced to ground. Cunningham couldn't get through, and a stalemate rule for a bounce.
Surprisingly, Cunningham has only had 4 kicks for the game. Perhaps indicative that he is carrying an injury. Nevertheless, still courageously got into that pack. Up over the top came the big fist by Andrew Bennett, one straight for the line, and more valuable seconds tick away. Bennett and Evans. Mark Williams waits the outcome. The bodies go in. Williams over the top, grabs the ball, tries to get it away, but umpire Mead once more says a bounce ball. 20 metres out from the Port Adelaide goal. South desperately hanging on to give themselves a chance in the 79 grand final. The bounce is a bad one. Earl gets the thump away. Palmer drops it, tries to scoop it away. Baines furthers it still. Back there looking for Fry. Soccers off the ground. Here's a chance now for Phillips. Dummies, left, right. Back high in towards full forward. Evans sets himself. The bodies go up. Evans has been paid the mark. Has been paid the mark at the back of the pack. A tremendous one, considering there must have been 2 or maybe 3 players in front of him. And Tim Evans has a chance to kick his 3rd goal from 15 metres out on a 50-degree angle. Evans, with the breeze coming in solid, almost a force 4 gale from his right, will have to take the right goal post. Usually pretty accurate with these. Heads towards the lake end, puts it through the middle, goal number 3, and Port Adelaide kicks clear. 24 minutes into this 3rd quarter. 8-6 to South 3-8. Top action on 7th. Big replay.
Coming up to time on in this 3rd term. A valuable goal for Port to a 28-point margin. 30 points has been the biggest margin between the sides. That was the 1st quarter score. And on that occasion, Phillips going long and direct, and Evans showing the strength and class of a good specialist full forward, notching his 3rd goal. 8 goals, 6 Port. They lead South 3-8.
At the bounce, it will be Bennett in opposition to Curtis, who gets the benefit of the bounce, goes for a big fist. Feletic helps it on still further. Clifford and Earl lock bodies. In they swoop, coming through quickly. Portplecia can't pick it up. The bodies go in. Clifford watches the outcome. Over the top is Palmer. The South Adelaide player is obscured at the moment. It could be Robin White. And a bounce down will take place on Port Adelaide's half-forward line. Into time on of this 3rd quarter. South hanging on for grim death. A big fist away by Curtis. Back towards Butler. Dawson claims him. He back turns into trouble. The head, a bad one. Cunningham quickly across to Evans. Oh, he wasted the opportunity. Bad luck. Cunningham did it well. Gave Evans a chance for number 4, but he dropped it in the square. And luckily for South, it tricks over for the minor score.
Philip Brooksby kicking into the lead of Bennett. White's there, forced out of play for a throw-in. What a golden opportunity going down the drain. Curtis with Hawkins. The big South fellow backing over it. Feletic applying the tackle. Play on the call. White versus Belton. Another stalemate called for. And again a bounce. Into time on by a minute now. Bennett has really lifted his game up against Phillips. Fry trying to work it out. Line kick forward. Curtis going back with the ball. Plenty of time to steady. Drives a high one, trying to straighten it up, but it's in the pocket. Dawson forces it out of play. And another throw in. 20 metres around from the right behind post.
Into time on by a minute. Bennett, Hawkins, Finally, it's Palmer who takes the ruck throw in and forces the ball out of bounds once more. This time it's about 35 metres around by from the Port Adelaide goal. Evans, Bennett gets the hook away. Clifford breaks his way through. Baines comes to meet him. Fanatic puts it onto with a boot, but luckily Robin White is there. Stephen Keem it is, takes the mark in the back pocket. Quickly breaks clear. He gives the run on the outer side to Brooksby. He's well clear now. Has a bounce. He can have a couple now. Finally, Hoffner is forced to come and meet that player. Brooksby taking his time, kicks to the half-forward line. Looking there for Linky. In front of the pack. Hoffner for the drums. Fumbles, recovers, sets it up now for Andy Portleisha. Port Adelaide go forward with a high kick towards the square. Evans at the back of the pack. What a tremendous mark under pressure. Evans got the set, got up there, held on. Nothing Palmer could do to prevent it. And the Port Adelaide full forward, who's already booted free, has a chance for his fourth from 15 metres out right in front. Kick number 5. Edge towards the lake end. Oh, it's a little bit offline. The umpire says it's a goal. Evans fourth. Port Adelaide kick clear. 9-7 to South 3-8. Top action on 7's big replay.
There's no doubt a specialist full forward can certainly swing a game. A brilliant mark, nothing short of it then by Tim Evans as he got to the front spot at the last moment and then had to take a good grab around waist level with the ball sailing in quickly. He was able to notch his 4th goal. He's only had 5 kicks and that's certainly value for money. Port on 9-7, leads South 3-8.
The danger period of the time on. Tapped out towards Mousley by Bennett, being held on to, gets the free kick from the centre circle. South badly need a respite. A goal would be happy or handy into time on, but the siren ends that possibility, and it's 3-quarter time. The final quarter for 1979. Port Adelaide 9-7, South 3-8. A commanding lead to the Magpies. South to come home with the breeze. White under pressure. Taken away by Paul Pleasure. Ball have to go back. A free kick against White for holding the ball will be taken by Port Adelaide captain Brian Cunningham. Uncertain which side to go, runs effortlessly around Hines. Cunningham over the half-forward line, chips it out. Curtis there, Evans beats him to it. And the Port Adelaide full forward playing with tremendous confidence at the moment. 2 goals late in that 3rd quarter gave Port Adelaide something to sit on at 3-quarter time. And now if he converts this, Port Adelaide have got 1 foot in for the 1979 flag. He's 40 metres out, kicking into a very strong breeze. Would be a good kick to make the distance. Even a better one to get it through. Going to be short, right on the line. Fisted away, Butler in for South Adelaide. Chased by Clifford. Butler gets away, hooks it around the corner. Earl. Clifford playing for the free. Keeps the ball inside the line, does it well, finally pulled off the ball. Holding the ball against Clifford, David Earl free kick.
Magnificent tackle, David Earl. Absolute persistency there. Missed it first time, but came back to get the free kick. To centre wing goes South. Hines in front, forced away by Phillips. Down to Eckerman. Over to Belden. Using the run of Paul Pleasure. Driving towards the goal square. Brooksby versus Evans. Hit down to Palmer. Now Earl. Closing on him, Evans, showing great pace. Hooks the ball from right in the pocket. Over the square, Dawson. Couldn't quite make it. Philip Brooksby cleverly away. South Adelaide looking to set it up now. Into the centre they go. And out comes Bradmore. Couldn't take it. In over the top goes Baines versus Cahill. Bounce.
South Adelaide need a big lift from their playmakers. Port Adelaide have successfully blanketed them up to date. Phillips gets the thump away towards Butler. White and Abernethy. White comes out with the ball. Cunningham goes in for the tackle, holds the ball to that player, and umpire Schofield in his first grand final doing a great job will come in and bounce. The bounce just marginally in Port Adelaide's attacking division. Hines to Butler, shovels it out. Coming against the tide was Hawkins, back towards Fry. South Adelaide now mounted an attack, but it's not a well-directed kick, and it's Ackerman. The grand final hero from 2 years ago drives to the outer side. Good mark, Felton. He's at centre wing. Port to go into attack. Fanatic wants it on the half-forward line. Cunningham gives the lead as well. Takes it 12. Port Adelaide starting this final quarter with tremendous confidence. Fanatic in the pocket. Cahill there. Good mark. Port Adelaide surging forward. Cahill too far out to score. Into this breeze, the leader's on from Dawson. He's got Evans in the square, going in high. Kick 15 to Cahill. Mark Williams. Good mark. 20 metres out. He read the play well, realising the ball was going to drop with that strong breeze. It was a floating putt kick, and Williams comes in to take the mark and a chance to kick Port Adelaide probably to the 1979 flag. Mark Williams towards the golf course, and the kick is going offline. 1 point. And Port moved to 9-8 to South 3-8. 6 goals clear.
South breathe again. 3.5 minutes gone in this final term. And the direct route home is the only way for South. That's chosen by Brooks Beers. He lobs it in the square. Hines up. Second attempt has got it. Peter Hines. The game should go for the doctor. A tumbling punt kick clearing the square. Sorrell at the back, Hannon working on the ground. Big Hawkins, Sorrell back in. Bradmore trying to break clear, but Collins applies the tackle. Another bounce. South Adelaide centre half forward spot. Bennett, but Butler it was who tapped it down to the feet of Curtis. Kick forward by Hawkins, robbed by Eckerman. Blindly he goes to the half back line to find Robin White of South. White having the better of Abernethy. Screw punt. Drop on the lip of the square. Forced down by the Port defence to Fry. A snapshot of goal! Offline. And another point to South Adelaide. 3 goals 9. They trail Port Adelaide 9-8.
Eddie Fry's third point, mainly from snapshots similar to that one. South in the first quarter, in the second quarter when kicking with the breeze, kicked 3-7. They couldn't find the uprights like Port could, who kicked 5 without a miss in the first. Sorrell to the outer side, a good-looking kick. Bennett over the top. Gary Clark, a fine mark. He's 50 metres out from goal. Breeze at his back. Kick number 5. The South Adelaide forward line is looking horribly cluttered as Port Adelaide go on the fence. A high kick from Clark to the square. Sorrell, Phillips, Cunningham in pursuit of the ball with Baines, but the ball goes out of play in South's full forward right pocket.
A very disciplined Port Adelaide defence, forcing to the white line. Curtis and Hines. Neither player able to get it out. Hines had one off the ground, but it's a bounce. Right forward pocket. It's Johnny Snabickler warming up on the bench as Port forced the ball out of play once more. And to hold the game will be the Port object. Johnny Snabickler. Can he come on and lift the South Adelaide side? Hawkins tried to work it back. Williams took it. Forced forward by Portlesia for yet another throw-in. Defence is going to be the name of the game for Port. It's been very disciplined all day. Hawkins, but Curtis got hand of the ball. Collins couldn't get through. Portlesia forcing it forward. Clark over to Baines. Trying to get it to Collins. Cunningham trying to get through. Awkward hand pass away. Big Hawkins caught with the ball, and holding it goes against him.
What a fine game Mark Williams has played. He's been a tiger. Tackled, chased, harassed, done it well. Long kick by Williams to the outer side. Paletic over the top, good mark. He's at centre wing, maybe just the check side. The Magpies poised at the moment. Clark off, interchange with Snabickler. Paletic letting the seconds tick away. Port Adelaide has won the game, now they've got to save it. The ball on the half-forward line. White gets the handball away. Bennett forwards it to the half-forward line. Oh, bad bounce there. Taken away by Portlesia. Long kick in towards the half-forward line. Earl getting back with Hoffner. Hoffner goes in with a heavy bump. Can't keep the ball in play. And a free kick will go to Peter Hoffner. Port Adelaide inside their half-forward line. Doing it well. 35 points in advance. 10th kick for Hoffner. Going high. Bree starting to bring it down. Evans. Palmer. Fine mark to the south centre half-back.
Despite going into the breeze in this final term, Port applying the pressure to South defence. Palmer coming wide to the lead of Harrity. They're on the attacking side on the half-back flank. Another high ball, clearing centre wing. Snabickler, but hit down by Williams to Baines. dribbles it through half forward. Hines has got the run, closing on him is Hannon, forces it towards the white line and recovers well, drives it to centre wing, Harradine up, so also Curtis, robbed by Keane, back to Baines, off the deck, up comes Hannon, but it's out of play for throw-in, South's half forward line.
Yes, South forwards can't get into the act at all. Half forward line throw in. It's only Port Adelaide there. Curtis towards Harradine. Right on the edge of the line. Can't raise a gallop. Neither can Curtis. Collins over the ball to Baines. Baines running to the ground from behind. And the South skipper gets a free kick. Baines having kick number 12. Rather a quiet one for the South skipper. Hasn't been able to exert his normal influence. But then again, neither of a lot of his teammates. A kick by Baines. He's gone to the half-forward line. But umpire Peter Mead has whistled up a 15-metre penalty, and conceivably Baines could make the distance from there. We saw Dawson do it earlier on, although he was offline. Baines now. His side badly needing a lift. Will have to take the right goal post. Heads towards the lake end. Going to drop short, right in the square. Over the top, Leakey! Fine mark. Oh, but he's tucked himself on the angle. Over the top of the pack. Has kicked two. Kept his eyes on the ball all the way, but would be on an 80-degree angle. The hopes of South Adelaide in 1979, perhaps resting on the shoulders of Jeff Linke as he heads towards the lake end, only 10 metres out, taking his time, and I think he's best. 1 point only, and South Adelaide can't take a trick in the 79 final.
The perplexed look of Hayden Bunton, worry on the face, trailing by 34 points with 9 minutes gone in the final term. Dolan's back on the ground for Port as Dawson has gone to rest. Dolan was taken off the ground in the third term, probably with the object of resting him for a big last quarter. South Adelaide's mark on the half-back line, half-forward line of theirs, Andrew Bennett. Kick number 15 after a big third term, driving to the lip of the square. Snebickler couldn't pull it in. Hines has an airy, forcing it forward now to the Snebickler, trying to get the body through. Hannon kicks Port out. Phillips is there, but the white line looms up, and yet another throw in that dead pocket, to which Port Adelaide are quite satisfied to keep the ball. Dolan up. Second attempt. Cahill taking the ground, will get the free kick, and he's not in any hurry to move the play. Darrell Cahill, a tremendous first half, faded in the second, but 16th kick goes to boot. Half-back line, and a fine mark taken by Andrew Bennett. A congested forward line as Bennett kicks high, going for distance. A wall of players up there, forced to ground. Cahill's back there, so also was Linke, but the ball out of play once more for yet another throw-in.
Port Adelaide hanging on, doing it well. At the throw-in, Dolan, Snebickler, Phillips over the top. Hines gets the flip away, but it's straight back over the line. Port Adelaide don't mind how long it's out of bounds. Bunton, grim-faced, putting all his experience into the thoughts. Where can he lift his side? Belton goes for the thump. Collins rides the bump, does it well. South going towards full forward again now. Leakey sets himself. Over the top came Hofner. Hines jabs it onto his boot, rides it towards goal, but he's going right across. And a chance now for Cahill to kick clear. Dribbles it towards the line. No Port Adelaide player in sight. Was forced to virtually kick it to himself. Baines in front position. Cahill again goes for the line. Eckerman taps it further. But now it runs out of play. No, still in there. Keane, Eckerman. And finally the umpire calls for a belt.
Some very tired legs out there at the moment. And they'll get even more tired as only 12 minutes have gone in this final term. Can South lift? Baines, the big thump forward, gives the run to Harradine. He works it beautifully to Linke, steadies, gets around, but an awkward-looking shot goes in, bouncing just in touch for a throw-in right beside the left behind post. A 34-point margin to Port, and what does one do can be seen in the face of Hayden Bunton. Dolan Phillips up with the big fist. Paul Pleasure, an awkward-looking kick across goal. Bounces towards Sorrell. Flanked by Bradmore, but Sorrell unable to control the ball. Yet another throw-in that right forward pocket. Dolan of Port, Hawkins of South, front spot. Late on the scene, Phillips. And how many times have we seen that big leap over the back to force it out of play for a repeat performance?
Half the final quarter is over. Port by 34 points. Dolan, Schneebichler, over the top. Hawkins hooks it back to Baines. Collins under pressure, can't get it clear. Giles runs over it. Forced out again. A chance now for Slattery. Hooked around the corner, going in high once more, but still offline. South Adelaide can't find the big white sticks, and it looks like Slattery has grabbed a hamstring. Heavily bandaged around the left thigh. He left the arena in the third quarter, but Bunton has been forced to put him back in this final quarter, trying to get some run through the half forward.
Trevor Sorrell and the other rover, Collins, is also favouring a leg. High leap by Bennett. He's doing everything to try and lift South. His third mark in that position in this final term. 14 minutes played. Virtually half the final quarter of 79 played. Another kick which will drop in the square. Wall of players out the back once more as a disciplined Port Adelaide defence keeps thumping that ball clear. Peter Hines of South. Phillips of Port. Hines the tap down to Rob Hawkins, but again the snapshot offline. And 32 points now the margin, with almost 15 minutes of play gone.
Too much pressure. South Adelaide can't get a clear kick at goal. Port Adelaide's defence standing up well. Sorrell. A long kick and drop punt to the outer side. Dolan, Bennett again. Not played this one. Forced out by Williams. The Bickler kicks back in towards full forward. Hines over the top. Sorrell goes for the safety of the line. Sensible football by the Port Adelaide fullback. Showing all the experience in the world, having played senior football in 2 states. Hines. Phillips. Collins. On the left leg, hooks back towards the Bickler, short of that player. Overruns it, trying to break through Giles. Player stack up, and the umpire forced to bounce once more. A very bitty last quarter, as Port Adelaide are intent on saving the big lead that they established for themselves in that third quarter. The bounce down. Dolan again towards Collins. Poor Pleasure and Cahill. Hooks round the corner looking for co-rover Cunningham, or was it Belton? But it's out of play on the foot.
Paul Belton unable to get that, but Robin White's got the ball deep in the pocket. Tries to straighten up play, a screw punt which carries well. Down the ground, Hannon kicks clear. Faletic under the drop of the ball. Didn't take the mark, but got interference against Beck. Milan Faletic from the half-back line of Port now. 16 minutes elapsed, and time beginning to etch away for South. Milan Faletic fires a high one to centre wing. Bennett setting himself, forced to ground. Robin White bursting through. Puts it down to the feet of Keane. He kicks through half forward. Dolan up there. In came Bell, who was pulled to ground. He's got the free kick. The right forward pocket, it's Collins. Gets a lead from Linky. Ignore it. Long. High. Hawkins up. Good mark. Rob Hawkins set himself for that one with grim determination, despite the spoiling of Phillips. He's yet to make a score. A lot hinging on this kick for South Adelaide. They need it badly. The kick is another poster, and that's the 4th one that South have notched during the afternoon. A 31-point margin now, 3 goals, 13 to Port 9-8.
Lead of 31 points. Port Adelaide a stranglehold on the 1979 grand final. Sorrell to the outer side. Bennett can't bring it down. Palmer up in attack at the moment, tries to press the tackle. Faletic. Port Adelaide run now, down the outer side. Curtis out in front. Oh, what a mark! Centimetres from the turn. Referee side. kick long now by Curtis to the half-forward line. So the Beckler's there, waiting for the chance to repel the attack. Kicks clear, or went to kick clear. Palmer under pressure, drops the ball, and he's gone for holding the ball. And South Adelaide now starting to panic under pressure. Abernethy had a fairly quiet one for him, his 10th kick. To the half-forward line, a high drop punt. Setting himself there. Oh, what a mark. Got to sit on the back of Beckler. Got up there, took it on his chest, and did it well. Stephen Clifford, too far out to score, would be 45, 50 metres, but he's taking his time. Port Adelaide has got plenty of it. Evans in the square. Can he find his star full forward? Going to drop short of that player. In front of the pack, it's taken by Palmer of South Adelaide.
Stewie Palmer would want to get the game moving very quickly. A crowd of 428 supporters here. An absolute sellout, and it's been a tense grand final. Into the centre, Cahill. Stalemate, a bounce just ahead of the centre circle, South's attacking side. Chris Bell on the boundary, getting ready to come on as Slattery, favouring a hamstring, goes to the bench. Eddie Fry over the top. Big Dolan still there. A giant performance. Cunningham worked it out. Supported by Porplecia. He's run down and will be penalised as Keane applies the tackle. Port Adelaide double South score with only one scoring shot difference. Forced down the ground again. David Earl up in attack. Slips it over to Collins. A snapshot from Collins again is offline. And South Adelaide just cannot find the wide uprights. 3 goals 14, trailing Port 9-8.
South has got Earl in attack now. Gary Clark back on the ground. Bickler off. 20 minutes into the final quarter. Sorrell to the outer side once more. Bennett at the back. Forced back towards Abernethy. White puts on the tackle. Hannon in support there of Abernethy. But the ball goes out of play once more. The sands of time running out into 79 for South Adelaide. Bennett and Dolan at the throw-in. Dolan in front. Bennett trying to grab it. Cunningham over the top, and another bounce ball. South has not kicked a goal since the second quarter. Port have held them virtually to, well, they have to 6 points in this final quarter. Dolan, Bennett, arms and legs everywhere. Fry in over the top with Cunningham, and another bounce ball.
There's no doubt of what possibilities South had have been kicked away. Bennett. Port Adelaide fisted clear once more. And again they go for that white line for a throw-in. A disciplined defence by Port. Dolan, Bennett going in Hawkins. Cox overrun it. Hands and knees goes Williams once more as he burrows in under Collins. And a fondling pat of appreciation for exactly just what Williams has contributed to this score of Port Adelaide. Phillips again, forcing it towards that white line. Again, valuable time saved for Port. It etches away, 21 minutes gone. Bennett and Dolan, Phillips again, and once more the man in white gets another service. The right forward pocket with Port Adelaide bottling it up.
Dolan and Hawkins. Ball farmed out now towards Abernethy. Once again out of play. South Adelaide just cannot get the ball away from that dead pocket, and certainly Port Adelaide is not about to let them. Hawkins taps back, looking for Butler, dispossessed. Belton over the top, and another bounce. The umpires working overtime, bouncing that ball as players stack up. Port Adelaide content just to sit on their lead. It's 30 points at the moment. Fist away again. Williams tries to forward the ball, doesn't get too far, and once more umpire Mee does the honours. It's turned into a bitty grand final in this final quarter, but certainly Port Adelaide are going to win it no matter what happens. Can't get clear. Folletic, Bell, Eddie Fry, and another bounce.
Familiar scene in this final term. Milan Folletic now's not the time to do rash things. 79 premiership in Port Adelaide's keeping. Big Hawkins up, the big thump, an airy by Baines, and another stalemate ruled for yet a repeat performance. Port Adelaide putting the lid on any effect that South might be able to try and get out of it. Bennett, the Dolan, the tap down, snared by Harradine, can't get through and has been penalised for holding the ball.
South Adelaide's half-forward line has been beaten pointless all afternoon. Port Adelaide half-back, superb.
Ryan Cunningham lifted his game tremendously since half-time. Fires a high ball which holds up in the wind. Big Dolan up there, thumps out the back. Folletti goes for the white line, and I think this time he may well have been pinched for a deliberate kick out. That he has, as Shane Butler drives South to centre half forward. Beautiful mark over the top to Harradine. Paul Harradine now well out, perhaps outside his distance. Favours a screw punt. It drops virtually in the square. Hines there. Sorrell hits the ground. Hit down by Linky. Taken by Keane. A high ball to the goal square. Forced away once more by Phillips. And what a disciplined performance the Port Adelaide vice-captain has put in today.
South Adelaide playmakers have been completely smothered by Port Adelaide. Obviously a pre-match tactic, and it's paid off handsomely for coach John Cahill. Paul Pleasure added run to Port Adelaide's legs in this second half. Folletti done well all day. Once again, he's content to see the ball go over the line and out of bounds. Throw in on the half-forward right flank as we hit time on in the grand final, and it's Port Adelaide all the way. Bennett certainly not stopping. Baines waiting at the back. Dolan, a superb performance. Coming through now, Williams. Give it across the Belden. Port Adelaide go forward to the half-forward line. Curtis there can't hang on to this one. He's been paid the mark, however, or a free kick.
He goes quickly to the half-forward line. Out comes Brooksby. Kept the ball in front of him. Clifford intervenes. Collins goes in with him, and it's a bounce on the half-forward line of Port Adelaide. Into time on now. Bounces. The excitement starts to lift. Port Adelaide supporters knowing they've got it in the bag. Big Dolan, a tremendous performance, drives to the outer side of Cunningham. Ryan Cunningham in no hurry whatsoever. Left forward pocket. 30-point margin. Drives a high ball which holds up in the breeze. Evans up. Out the back to Clifford. Worked over to Belton. No one in the goal square. Back to the running Clifford it goes. And a free kick given away for Clifford to have a shot at goal now and seal the doom for the Panthers. Mark Dawson there with Jack Cahill, and what a relief face we see now. Still signs of strain, but I do detect a smile beneath those fingers. Stephen Clifford, who was notched too, been a vital player on the half-forward line. His 8th kick about to go to boot. Crowd hushed. Giving himself room, he puts it through for one behind, and Port Adelaide a 31-point margin, 9 goals 9 to South Adelaide 3 goals 14.
Must be very close to the final siren. Brooksby's kick in straight down ground. Bennett sets himself, Dolan over the top. Harradine gets a bad bounce. Paul Pleasure, Baines, Eckerman on the half-forward line. Slips out the handball now to Boyd get his first touch in the 79 grand final. Folletti is short, the pass is a bad one. Cops on the half-back line. Undecided where to go, kicks long to the leaders to Bickler, that's a good pass. The dying moments of the 79 football season. Port Adelaide by 31 points. The Bickler booms a high one in towards full forward. The back of the pack, they're waiting for it is Earl. Quickly they get the back ball. It's Port Adelaide's year. A great disciplined team effort. Have seen the Magpies win their 20th premiership. Running out winners over South Adelaide. 9-9-63 to South Adelaide's 3-15-33.
Yeah, I won't say much. Thanks to South Adelaide for the match today. We were just a bit lucky on the day, and we're very, very proud to be that. This premiership belongs to a lot of people. Our coach, Darrell Cahill, must thank him. 20 players that played today. Also those players, Chris Nat, Kim Kinnear, Carl Fragamini, who didn't play. And this cup's also all yours as well. Thanks a lot.
Well played. What do you think of your first grand final?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Fantastic. Were you a bit nervous before the game started?
Yeah. As soon as I got out there, it was great.
Yeah, and what did Darrell Cahill say to you before the game started about nerves?
Oh, just relax, you know, try and treat it as any other game.
Well played.
Thanks, mate.
You got up to a great start in that first quarter by kicking 3 goals early. Do you think that gave the side confidence?
Yeah, I thought it gave us the edge.
Come on, man.
You know, we needed the break to start with.
And what did Darrell Cahill say at 3/4 time about you had a lead of about 30 points? Did he tell you to sit on it?
Oh, he said try and run it up, but yeah, sit on it basically. But we came through. We outscored him, I think.
Gee, what a wonderful year you've had. Australian champions in the Teal Cup and now 1979 premiers. Get in there with your mates.
Yeah,
Get right. Well played. Ian Bradmore, what do you think?
Oh, fantastic.
I bet last week you must have panicked, thought you weren't going to make it.
Yeah, I thought so. I got there. No worries.
What was it, a bruised foot?
Actually, I snapped the ligaments off my bone, off the bone of my foot. Yeah.
When did you do that? About 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And last week, when did you know that you weren't fit enough to play?
On Saturday morning. Yeah, Saturday morning.
And obviously Port Adelaide took a calculated risk about you playing today, or did you know your foot was 100%?
I knew it was 100%.
No needles?
A few.
Only a few needles?
A few.
And what do you think about the game?
Oh, fantastic. We took control the first quarter, got a start, and that last quarter we just punched at the boundary and played, really desperate football.
You obviously had a lead and you intended to sit on it?
That's right, 5 goals, we had the win and that was it, yeah.
Do you feel that South Adelaide's forwards could never get into the game because your defenders just tackled too hard?
Just tackled, punched, and just really desperate football back there.
Ian Bradmore, well played, and I think we'll catch up with you tonight at the Albert.
I think so, no worries.
Bucky Cunningham, congratulations.
Thanks, Ian.
Well, captained your first premiership side, how does it feel?
Beautiful, great.
Were you 100% fit?
Oh, no. I didn't play like it. I didn't have a good game myself, but I was glad I was out there. That was the main thing.
Bucky, I wouldn't say you didn't have a good game, but not the normal Cunningham. I think the first half you only picked up like 4 kicks now.
Yeah.
You built as the game went on. What was the problem?
Oh, I had a calf and I had a few injections in it to start with because it was pretty sore. But the trouble is the injections got to my ankle and I couldn't twist or turn. I kept going over on the ankle, so I had to have it strapped. And as the game wore on and those needles wore off, it got better and better. So I was pleased at the end.
The toss, how important was that to win?
Yeah, I reckon it was important because we got away to a good start. We kicked, I think, 5 in that first quarter.
Without a miss?
Yeah. And that was something that was really psychologically good for us because we knew that it might be wet during the game. The wind might swing around, so that was it.
Obviously, at 3/4 time, you decided just to sit on the lead.
Yep. That was our plan. Jack had told us that we were to keep the ball on the far side, and that was the thing that won it for us.
Did you have a pre-match plan to sit on the South playmakers, the Butlers, the Bains, the Slatterys?
No, it was the other way around. I think Butler followed me around all day, and Cox followed Paul Belton.
There seems to be plenty of noise going over there. Would you like to go over and join them?
I'll go and join.
Get into it.
That'd be great.
Well done.
Ian, I think it's a bit of champagne game, but here's one man who wants to talk about Mark at the bottom of Cliff.
Hey, yeah, how about that, Mark? A specky.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I don't take too many of them during the day, but magnificent, Ian.
Come over here and join the crowd.